funny. I know how to do that one real quick. Like, what the way? What you mean? What's going on? Hilarious. I always have a good time, that's for sure. And be like, what is happening up in here? It is so much going on, but we really got to get going on what's really happening. And y'all already know I'm going to be up on this whole single mothers being the reason or to blame for mass incarceration. Now, today's topic, if you are just getting on right now, today's topic is Shop Topics. We covered it all. We are going to cover it all, okay? Now, what's up? We're going to talk about the affirmative action that we've talked about prior. This has been an ongoing thing. And then now it's there. It's like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about, like I said, the main one, where single mothers are to blame for mass incarceration. We're going to talk about the issues that happened to Darlene McCoy, which is a gospel radio personality. We just got a whole lot. Busta finally being acknowledged. I told y'all be sleeping on Busta. Busta was doing it. We just got a whole lot going on. And we gonna talk about it. All right? Let's go, baby. Let's go. Catch up if you're just coming on, okay? Catch up if you're just coming on. I had guests. I had guests in the studio.
Oh.
How cool is that? The little people. I had the little people singing the alphabet, so I can't be like, listen, cut it short, stop at L, because I got a show to do. Like,
Right.
we ain't going to element up. No, I got a show to do. Bye. Can't do that.
Get out.
So yeah, out of here. And then you can't listen to this part of the show either. No.
True.
Be like, All right, so shout out to the little peoples knowing their alphabet and singing the alphabet for me. I appreciate it. In different tones. Had the nerve to go up an octave. Oh, yeah, they ain't do that. Not just the basic alphabet. They done went up. They hit a F note. I said, okay.
Wow. Okay.
Saying it like that. I can't cut. Who am I? I don't want to be the scumbag.
Yeah.
Come on, cut it short. Oh, look, watch this rendition of the alphabet. Yeah, I couldn't do that. So, check this out. Let's jump right into what part you want to tackle first. Because I want to get into the single mothers being to blame for mass incarceration.
Well, I mean, we can get into it if you want.
Let's rock with that, and then we'll catch up with all the other stuff that's coming up.
Well, there's this quote. It's a quote that goes around, and you'll hear it. You've probably heard it. I want to. Okay, right. So you'll hear that 70% of young men that are incarcerated come from single parent households or single mother households, right? And so basically, that is a misinterpretation of the data, and it's something I've heard. And basically, the actual data, first of all, it was limited in scope. It was really old. I think it was like 20 to 30 years ago. And it was just juveniles. And then there was something else. But it was the full picture of how the data was collected is never showcased. And the reality is, if we're talking about all incarceration, it's actually 50-50. Which makes sense. So half of them are from two-parent households and half of them are from single-parent households.
And we know that now, but I just have a problem with the blame.
Exactly.
Don't blame me. That's why I had to get... I'm sorry, Amber D. That's why I had to get in on, because I said, wait a minute. So you are going to blame the single mother.
The mother, the parent mistake, absolutely.
Yeah, for mass incarceration. And we've heard over and over, single family households, and yeah, it's usually women. But how in the world can you blame a single mother for mass incarceration when we're already blamed probably for a failed relationship?
Well, and
if you want in on this conversation, feel free to do so. The phone number here is 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. Go ahead.
So that, I mean, I feel like, because I've said this before, and I will say it again, is that I feel like a lot of the things that I hear on this topic is coming from a negative place of, like you said, blame, of spitefulness. There's some resentment there, and because again, if you actually dig into it, and this gentleman did, it's completely inaccurate. And his summary of it was, these men and women will sit here and spout off the 70% statistic. It's basically they're just making stuff up to validate their feelings. It's based in emotion. And it's negative emotion, because the actual data, like if you look into it, it doesn't reflect that. And then in his conclusion, when they looked at what factors most contribute to people being incarcerated, it was we need
some sound effects. Go ahead.
My own sound effects. It is men abandoning their children when they got into a new relationship.
And it happens so often.
So then the first set of kids, or the first child, go through, it's the traumatic, and it destabilizes them emotionally, and then they kind of go rebel and do all that stuff that ends them up in prison. But yeah, that is actually the leading cause of people ending up in prison. And then just recently, Brian McKnight. And like you said, it happens all of the time. Now, his kids are adults, but we know that happens when the kid is 2 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old.
You know, I was about to go in. I'm like, they ain't grown. Like, come on.
Right. No.
And these grown children got some grown personalities and some grown back talk, and need to have a grown money and leave me be. Because I'm going to tell you what, once they listen here, let me put, I had to put my tea down. Hold on. Listen here. You have these adults that will come, and this is, I'm speaking on, I don't know what's going on, Brian McKnight in there. I don't. But some people, they want to be on the backs of their parents. These children want to be on the backs of their parents, and constantly want to blame the parent. Like, you should be doing certain things. Who was that? 50 Cent's son. Groaner than a mug. Get out of here. What is that? Grown scars also. Yes, there you go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Noel Fagan's on Facebook. 50 Cent helping his son out, and then he don't want to do anything. You got Brian McKnight's children. Yeah, I'm Brian McKnight. Who are you? Who was that? One of them celebrities was like, I think it was Shaq. I'm rich. Talking about we rich. No, I'm rich. You got to do your thing. And yes, the road can be a little easier for you, but you can't do that. What's the little boy out here now that they got him all messed up? Will and Jada's son, Jaden.
Right.
Why did he post on there, posting talking about what his mother introduced him to psychedelic drugs?
Well, I think the post, I didn't read it because I said this is.
You done with the Smiths.
Right.
The Pinkett Smiths.
Scrolling. But yes, it said that she introduced the entire family. Now, the last time we talked about the Smiths in depth, I believe I said they're weird, and that sounds like par for the course for weirdness. So okay, it sounds like your mom's being your mom.
She's being what she is. You know her more than we. You know better than we do.
Right, exactly. I'm like, it sounds like something she do. Well, you know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly. So it's just like, what are we talking about here? But as far as Brian McKnight, that's what it sounded like initially. But when I started learning more about it and like why they were upset, I was like, yeah, like he named his newest, like it's an extra. It's not the financial component. It's absolutely the emotional component, which is like the point as far as this data goes. So I just thought that was a really interesting conclusion. It's starting to go around. I don't know if it's going to go viral, but.
So kind of like with one of our viewers, Noel Fagan said, grown scars also. So that sounds...
And we talk about that as far as like generational trauma, but there's a lot of adults walking around with childhood trauma because their daddy left them because he got a new girlfriend or whatever, and they take that out on other adults, but it still originated in childhood.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's
so it sounds like they're to blame. Don't come for the single mothers talking about the single mothers are to blame for mass incarceration. Well, check this out. How about if the mother left too? Then who's stuck? And yeah, I say it's stuck. Because how often do we have to cancel things? Like, oh, wait, I got to cancel an appointment. Okay, fine, consider, because you are the single mother. And let me be clear out here when I say single mother, because I talk to a few people and some of them are a little strange. A few wives are strange. And the reason I say that is because they tend to remove themselves. Wives or ex-wives tend to remove themselves, or widows, and they look at just the single mother like, oh, okay, you just had a child out of wedlock, when that may not be the case. You could have gotten a divorce. Your spouse could have passed away. There's so many different, levels to this. Mm-hmm. You could have been married and your husband got incarcerated by being pulled over bogusly. There is so many different things that play a part. But I was communicating with 3 actually, and 2 of the wives had the nerve to say, well, they shouldn't have children out of wedlock. I hope you already know. Girl, baby, the tea kettle blew over on me. Huh? That is not, no. Everybody don't walk in and be like, oh, I'm going to be single in 10 years.
Right.
Like, come on.
I mean, I would think not only that, but there is a thing called a married single mother. And that's, so being married.
Boom! Where is my sound effects? Yes, a married single mother. Let's go. Let's shop talk.
Guys, so, and then not only that, there is, especially for Black women, there is no benefit to marriage if you are actually put under financial distress in your marriage. So essentially, your husband is another mouth to feed. And at that point, your marriage is not benefiting you. Okay, it's not benefiting your household. So marriage is not some kind of cure-all.
Go ahead, I'm listening on you. Don't worry about my lighting.
It's about the union and 2 people coming together, to raise children intentionally. So, I feel like with Black women, there's just this, because it's not as common in the Black community, I feel like marriage is really put on this pedestal, and all women, especially 30 years ago, would be like, there'd be like this huge difference between a single woman and a married woman as far as societal value, even though that married woman could have a much worse situation and circumstance than the single woman.
Baby, listen. Let me get the 8-ball. You're not got to. The 8-ball says, let's see what the 8-ball says for the married single mother.
Yeah.
Oh man, it can't look. It ain't got no. It's just straight across and no words.
Oh dang!
The 8-ball ain't even got nothing to say. The 8-ball dropped the mic too. Crickets on the 8-ball.
With the whole king energy belief system or whatever, I feel like it really encourages weaponized incompetence amongst Black male fathers. Like, oh, just because you're physically present, you don't need to be emotionally present, you don't need to be engaged, you don't need to be active in your child's life. You're present, you're in the household. That makes you a king. That makes you a good father. When that's not the case, and the expectation, especially compared to other communities, that bar is like in hell. Like, that is a really low bar to set for a good father, is that he's present.
And we calling them kings. And we're calling them kings and fixing their plate and bringing it to them in the lazy boy.
Exactly. And that they're kings when they're not even in their child's life. They're kings when they've created 1, 2, 3 broken homes. I mean, it's just like, when are we going to start thinking critically? And it's like, no, you're not a king. Sorry. You know, if you were a king,
you a joker. The Joker. You're the Joker.
It's just, I think as much as it is important, it's critical for Black women to be very intentional about procreation. Black men need to be equally as intentional about procreation. Like, it's a big deal. And it's not like, oh, well, it didn't work out between you and this lady and this girl you was dealing with, but you're still a good man and a good father, because you see your kid once a month and you pay child support. Child support is literally the bare minimum. It literally, you pay child support so you don't end up in jail. Okay? You are forced, your hand is forced by the government to pay child support. That is not impressive and not something that should be applauded. That is literally the bare minimum. It's like, well, I guess the other option is go to jail. Like, what do you mean? Like, well, I pay my child support.
Right. And it is the bare minimum. How easy is it for you to be like, okay, well, I could just pay child support and I don't have to be in my child's life?
Right.
And then when you decide to, if you had an option, you have people that's like, okay, do you want me in their life? Because I hear some young men say that. Do you want me in their life? I don't have like the means to afford child support. Yeah, I already know you want to go in. Oh, no, look. Noel said, Noel on Facebook said, jail, please. If you're not there anyway, like, you're physically present, but you're not there. So how are you helping the situation? But you do have some young men who are out there and they want to spend time with their children, can't afford, maybe backed on child support. But then you have that mother that's like spazzing out like, well, you need to help me. I can't afford this. You need to help me in this way when he's present too. So it's like, if you had to choose, which one would you choose?
Presence. And I think a lot of women choose presence. But at the end of the day, kids cost money. Okay. they're pricey. They're pricey little things. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like, again, that circles back to like being very intentional. And I feel like these young people also want to throw out there that the teen pregnancy birth rate for Black women has actually, or Black young ladies, has decreased.
Yes.
So congratulations. That's good. That's a step in the right direction. But I think young people,
I got it together now, baby.
The kids need to understand that how big of a deal kids are. Just because they are biological, and this goes, oh man, I'm just throwing everything in. These men who are sitting here trying to normalize and rationalize child marriage, marrying a 14-year-old, because they're biologically able to reproduce, and that they're perverts and they're usually weak and have no actual power or influence. There's arguments floating around saying, oh, you should be able to marry a 16-year-old. You should be able to marry if the parents consent. What?
Baby ain't even got no pubes. Like that.
Right, because you got some pubes.
Like that.
They're not mentally there. You are absolutely still a child, even if biologically you're able to reproduce.
See, you know what though? I'm gonna jump on that real quick too. Look, we all over, but we in the same thing. we still in the topic. See, men who date younger girls, I feel as though they were in like slow classes.
Because sometimes they are equally yoked mentally.
And see, that's what. And listen, y'all be mad because I know y'all done muted the R. Kelly. But when I met him, I told you, like, he was a couple sandwiches short of a picnic. I was like, ooh, like the conversation, Gypsy, where you at? We were together. And I looked over at her like, this is weird. And this, matter of fact, when I met him, I'm going to tell you, it was that night on the radio. We were in Pittsburgh. That's when they said they were married. So this is like many years ago. Him and Aaliyah.
Okay.
I'm telling you. He was like, I was like, who am I talking to? I felt like mentally, it was not there. There was a basic conversation. I was like, oh, he kind of delayed. So I think that older men that date younger women are kind of delayed because they can't, you know what I mean? Like, you can't converse with me. What do we have in common? Because I do look at older men who be with the younger. I was like, they were somebody young. Like, what do y'all have in common? Mm-hmm. And the same with depending on your upbringing, like an older woman versus a younger man, what do you have in common? Commonalities might be there for at that moment, because what is it, 40, we're in our peak, and you dating a younger dude, he like, hey, let's pop this off, let's do what we do. So it works until you get to that next another 10 years, and they're still in their peak, and you like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So where's the commonalities at? Hey, if you want in on this conversation, come on in. Come in the room. 619-902-2287. And you guys know you can text, and I will not go ahead and, disclose who you are. I will not name you. But I did get some comments on the previous show, which that's why this is Shop Topics. We about to tackle all of this, because this is about to go in.
Okay.
My non-melanated people, boom. They was like, man, I don't want no problems. Like, come on, just text me, I got you. So to blame a single female on mass incarceration, that just kind of throwback, burn my britches. Like, we want to be single. Unless you got the dude that's the king, air quotes for the listening audience, the king that's sitting at the house like he a king, and you're raising a son and he ain't doing nothing, and then you raise another, air quote, king. Putting a crown on a clown, people. Putting a crown on a clown.
Well,
then that's her fault. Because he's a loser. You chose a loser. You probably didn't know he was a loser because he was cute at the time. And then you was like, ooh. And then now you're raising a loser because he's following in those footsteps. Exactly. Because mama's boys, I don't care. Y'all can fight me on this, and y'all do be getting back at me. I love it, though. Mama's boys, daddy's girls. The girl is going to date someone like her father if he's in her life. She's going to choose that direction. I don't care how you look at it. You can talk to her till you're blue in the face. She's going to watch.
Even when he's not there.
She's going to watch. And that's what she's going to do. Mama's boys. If this is the guy that my mother likes, okay, I'm going to pick up those traits. I'm telling you. Be mad. Come at me, because I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. It is the truth. That's why I tell single mothers, I was like, watch who's around your son, because they're going to try to mimic what you like because they want to please you. How often have we seen the female with the gay friends? And then all of a sudden, her son like, my butt look good in these, and you like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
And shout out to you, Terry the Fairy. He was cool. But I was like, you know what I'm saying? I call him Terry the Fairy. He be mad, but Terry. I love Terry. Anyway, you have that. And then you have the girl who, good or bad, the dad can have good traits. But that daughter will find what's in that father. She's going to look for that out there. I'm telling you.
I don't think it's look. I think she'll be attracted to it subconsciously.
Well, there you go. Well,
intentionally looking for bad traits, but if you want to break any generational,
not intentionally looking for a bad trait. Like, let me look for the dude that's gonna bust me in the eye. No,
right. And I was actually Patrick Tehan on Facebook. He recently, not Facebook, YouTube, made a post, and he said that people who suffer from childhood trauma do not attract abusers. They grew up in an environment where their safety was never a priority. Like, that was the environment that they came from, so that's what they find normal. And that's why it appears that they attract abusers, but their foundation is, my safety has never been a priority. So
I'm not looking for that in dating or in the future.
Like, that's normal because that's where you come from. So, yeah, I think it's really.
That's why I say that a lot of people in our community we are programmed impoverished. But that's another show.
Yes, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother show.
Poverty
because of what you're used to.
Yes.
Now back to this. I'm still stuck. So if you did not leave, whoever did this stupid survey, if the fathers did not leave the situation, maybe she wouldn't be single. But you're not going to be blaming the single mother who is trying on mass incarceration. Blame the fathers. Now, blame some of the choices of the female, but come on now. You can't just throw that all.
Right.
Come on.
Well, and I feel like the data was like formally collected by a reputable agency and all that stuff. It's a misinterpretation of the data. And I feel like I said, it's a deflection and it's an excuse because even if, like you said, there is some role of the mother and her choices, I think it's the terminology that we have embraced as a community. So, who was it? The tennis player, the Asian, she's half Asian tennis player. She's pregnant, and they was like, "Oh, I'm a Osaki or something. I can't remember her name." Anyways, people saying, "Oh, she."
Girl, that sounds like a sauce.
Her baby daddy is a rapper.
You hear me?
They're like, "Hey,
that sounds like a sauce." Talk about Osaki.
She's a tennis player. She's half black, half Asian.
Okay.
Her boyfriend is black. He's a rapper, and she announced she's pregnant. She ain't married. So people were saying, "Oh, she a baby mama." So then these other people, and I'm guessing by their handles that they're Asian, were like, "Only black people use the term baby mama. She is going to be a mother." And I'm like,
"See,
true, but you know what? She's still a baby mama because she chose to sit here and get knocked up without being wed." That's factual. And that little thing I saw online is a great example of how black women are held to higher standards because single mothers in other communities, I want to say particularly the white community, are not treated the way single mothers are treated in the black community. Where, again, everything is your fault. You brought that on yourself. It's not, "Oh, poor you, and how dare that man leave you, and we're going to come around and support you, and blah, blah, blah." No, it's like, it's your fault. You did it. Shame on you. But you know what? I think at the end of the day, especially because she ought to know better, yeah, she a baby mama.
Okay.
Well.
Okay, Amber D, you said that. Now, let's talk about, remember the incident that I ran into where the lady introduced me as, I will not name my ex-husband's name, and she was like, "Oh, this is so-and-so's baby mama." Remember that?
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, "I'm his ex-wife."
Right.
So there is a difference.
There's
and
absolutely
so
difference.
I get it. And I think that we need to stop. Hold up. I'm not a baby mama. That's a no. And I had to correct her though. And she apologized, but it lowers the standard.
Absolutely. And I feel like
baby mama. Matter of fact, don't even be calling me mama. Because I can't stand when dudes be like, "Hey, little mama." No, bye.
Right.
I ain't look, no, bye.
Oh, yeah, no. But it was that.
But I get what you're saying.
And the expectation, I think, is, again, it's very different. If you start to look at things in a bigger picture in combination with the data, it makes sense. Yeah, black women are held to this much higher standard. Baby mamahood is way more common in the black community. It is something that is weaponized to shame black women, and it's also something that's been normalized. And so
to some,
and pussyfoot around the fact that you're having babies out of wedlock, but that is exactly what you're doing, and it is detrimental to the fabric of society. And I think that that's something I want to reiterate to myself and every time I'm on here. Oh, why? Well, what is degenerate? Oh, what is problematic? Oh, well, what's wrong with rap music or gangster rap? It is detrimental to the fabric of the black community when you're disassembling and devaluing the family unit, when you are disregarding the safety and well-being of your fellow citizens within the black community. You are literally decreasing the quality of life for everyone in the community. So there are certain things, behaviors, activities that are bad.
Okay.
Why is it bad for me to sell drugs? Stuff like that.
You'd be like, "I know this." But watch this. Watch this, Amber D. This is how it used to be. Most, back in the day, rappers rapped about their upbringing. Now you got these knockoffs that's playing the role, putting on a costume and acting like they went through the trials and went through whatever they went through, heartache, and they didn't. And they're like, "Okay, I'm here to sell records. I'm not justifying the actions." Now, when we talk about normalizing things, like when you just were talking about the young lady, you know, as far as like her safety, being brought up in a home where there was domestic violence and her safety wasn't a priority. And then she dates that guy who doesn't, she dates a guy who actually is violent toward her, and that's not a priority. Well, that's the same thing like what you're talking about with the rapping, but I ain't gonna say nothing about Rick Ross. But what I'm saying is, you do have those rappers out there that be faking the funk, but you do have those who actually went through things and they're just speaking, and that's their therapy. See, I'm old head hip hop. That's their therapy. So they're just talking about that. But you have to determine, and as a parent, you have to say, this is their life. This is what they went through. That is not your story. So it's important for the parents to say, you're not listening to that. You know what I'm saying? Well, we have to be held accountable. Parents need to be held accountable.
Absolutely. And I feel like, okay, for as far as, I'm not thinking about old school rap, or I'm talking about what's happening right now in the hip hop music industry, rap industry. And what's his name? Not Young Boy Melly or...
See, I don't know these people.
I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know their names all the way. But I think Melly is a part of his name. Anyway, he's on trial right now for a double homicide. And allegedly he's innocent. Allegedly, I don't know. He's in court right now. But he killed two of his friends. This reminds me of the other one that just died from Migos. Take Off.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he got shot over what, a dice game, I believe.
He should have been in that community. I still got my thoughts.
But you know what?
That's when you reach
still a deflection. That's still a deflection.
It is.
He has the right to play a dice game if he wants to. Why is the community killing people over dice games? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I see. You know what? I'm with you on that. I feel like it was a plan anyway, and that was just the ploy. Like, okay, we get here, we're gonna play this. I want him dead. Blah blah blah. That's just.
No, I think legitimately. I think obviously there's probably some jealousy in there. If he was famous, right? And but again, the core of it is why is it normalized to like kill people? Like, why are you so emotionally unstable and have such low self-discipline that you're gonna take another person's life, someone's life, over something that trivial? And that's not unusual. That isn't, just because he's a famous rapper doesn't mean that it was some type of anomaly situation. This is normal stuff that happens all the time, and we're not sitting here questioning why are we acting like this is normal in the Black community or in the hip hop community or whatever. It's not normal. Something is wrong with you mentally if you're willing to take another person's life. More importantly, take a person's life that looks like you, but you hesitate to take the life of someone that doesn't look like you. There is something wrong with you mentally. There is an issue. Not like, well, that's the Black community, or well, that's the lifestyle. No, there is some mental illness. That's what that is.
It's a sad thing. Let me go to the comment because this was a good one. Charles Lilly of Facebook said hip hop is a lifestyle. Indeed. And Quincy Delmer of YouTube said, right, as far as to your point, what you were saying. That is an issue. Now, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to be so ticked off if I find out the killer was raised by a single mother. Then it goes to the point of what I'm trying to tear apart as far as like single females being blamed for mass incarceration.
We talked about this like 3 or 4 episodes ago. T.I. and his son. Now he's got charges, and he over something stupid. But see, that's to my point. That's to my point, Amber D. And he's from a 2-parent household.
Yes, and then guess what? You don't even have to deal like. Why?
Volunteering. He was volunteering for the struggle. Because
right.
He blackness with struggle.
Right. You want to go ahead and read the comment, Amber D?
Charlie Lilly of Facebook said, put the blame where it belongs with the executive.
What you think?
Wait a minute. For who? The rappers that got killed?
No, just as far as like the topic.
Who's the executive?
Whoever. Look, the Kings. The Kings, using the air quotes, the Kings.
I was confused.
But and it could be, we hear often like they, air quotes I'm using for a listening audience. They, who are these they? And right, the white man. I'm so tired. Listen, I'm so tired of that. And let me tell you this. This is why I'm tired and exhausted from it. If you know it, why not do something different?
No, that's not the point. See, oh my God. Okay, so here's the thing. This is what kills me about the whole manosphere, red pill, the gender war in the Black community. Literally, there are no new talking points from the last 40 years. The same arguments for 40 years. But so instead of validating your feelings, where is change? Where is action? Oh no, we can't be bothered to do that. Or, I want to lead, and you Black women are so argumentative, you're so aggressive, let me lead. Okay, go ahead and lead. Well, what do you want us to do?
That's it. What do you want us? Like, wait, I'm like, you didn't even have a plan. Like, you had a decision, but not a plan. Come on. Go ahead, Amber. Do you want to read the comment?
So Quincy Del Mar of YouTube said, I think he's talking about how the companies make money from the negative behavior. Okay. So, Quincy Del Mar, thank you for listening and participating in the show. But okay, this is something that only happens in hip hop genre. In other music genres where they generate actually way more money than hip hop music does, like country, like pop music, like rock music, not the same thing. Okay, not the same outcome. To me, honestly, that is a deflection. Okay, because the reality is other artists in other genres that actually generate more income for these companies don't do that. And they don't get into turf wars and arguments and let comments online escalate into actually killing each other in real life. And that's not just in hip hop. You can get even more specific and say Black female rappers aren't doing that. White male rappers aren't doing that. So it's not just saying, well, it's because the company, they're encouraging negative messaging. Partially, yes. But at the end of the day, if that was such an effective marketing strategy, they'd be doing it across all musical genres, not just hip hop.
Yeah. Don't come for Amber D and her music, baby. But I get what he's saying, because you go back to, let's bring it back to the best diss record of all times. No Vaseline. No, Nas is up there, but No Vaseline with Ice Cube. When he was talking about Jerry Hester.
Okay.
Alleged. I'm just covering myself, but we already know. Actually, he said his name. But when you talk about the executives, when he's speaking about the executives, where Ice Cube put it all out there. He put it all out there where he changed it. So he did something about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I got a decision. This is what I want. We need change. We need to, but nobody has a plan. And that is my issue. What is the plan? So yes, the talking points are still the same, but don't talk me to death. That's why nothing's happening.
And I feel like, there is a reckoning coming. And I feel like as people just start to look at, okay, yeah, you've been saying the same thing for 20 years. So what are you going to do? Like, what are you?
We're not taking serious because we're not doing anything.
Right. And then with like I said, it's the same arguments. There is literally nothing that has been said that's actually new information. And that's crazy. And it's not even like one decade. It's like literally 3 or 4 decades worth of information. Even how, and this just recently stopped, the Moynihan report. Completely, I think low-key intentionally misinterpretation of that data.
Mm-hmm.
Completely misrepresented, misread it, and then spread it around again to bash Black women, to punch down at Black women.
Elaborate a little bit for those who aren't familiar.
Okay, so basically a lot of people will say that the Moynihan report validates that Black women chose public assistance over having a partner in the home, basically. But that the Moynihan report is a very large report, and if you actually read it, or even just a couple pages, key pages of it. That's actually not what it said. It all actually said the complete inverse of that, and that basically Black people are poor because of the men, basically, and then even goes outside of race, because it was really just recently there was a study done on biracial children, because historically biracials were never in their own category.
No, because 1% Black, you were considered Black.
Exactly.
But some non-melanated people said, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, we're getting ready to be the minority. Let's give them their own box to check. Exactly. So you have African American, Caucasian, biracial, and guess what? In 10 years, biracial will be the majority. Go ahead.
Right, exactly. So this is just a very recent study done, again, because biracial people were never considered. Like, they were never given a box to check off, and they were never considered an actual group to study. Biracial children, it's the same thing. The child's outcome, the child's health, and like all of that stuff is directly related to the father's income. Okay, even when the mother's not Black, okay, Black, white, Asian, whatever, the child's outcome in life is directly related to the father's presence and the father's earning potential.
Boom.
Boom. Boom. And that's what the Moynihan report said also. But, they took like one sentence and was like, yeah,
you already know how that goes. This sounds good. Let's take this negative tonation and bam, this is what we're going to talk about it and link it to this.
And then the other part, the thing that this was completely a twist on it. And it said, okay, let's validate your argument. Yeah, they chose a check from Uncle Sam over having a man in the house. If you objectively, logically speaking, if a $300, and that's how much it was in the 70s, it was like $300. It wasn't much money. Mm-hmm. You're choosing a $300 check over a whole human being to help raise children, and hypothetically, the income they're contributing to your household. That person is worthless. If you're telling me a whole ass human being does not offset the value of a $300 check, you're worthless. And I was like, my mind was blown, because I was like, wait a minute, that makes a lot of sense.
Let me give a sound effect.
Like, listen, if you're a rat, because you're a hustler and you're just after money and you're vicious and you're heartless, right? If you're logically looking at a situation and saying, a whole nother human being to help me raise children and contribute to my household, or a $300 check in the mail, no, that $300 check in the mail is a better option.
That's it.
Maybe that man is worthless. Is literally worthless.
That's what she's saying.
I was like, whoa, because you're assuming, oh, he's working. Oh, he's helping taking care of the kids.
Well, Nathan Woodard of YouTube said 300 was a lot back then. That's where the problem is at.
I don't think it was.
It was not. It was not.
Another argument.
But exactly, which what we were talking about. Look, I said was a whole nother show, being programmed in poverty.
$300 is not a lot of money back then. The welfare you receive right now, if you qualify for Section 8, for whatever, you are not living a good life. Like, you are impoverished.
Now watch this. If you manipulate the system, this is off but on. When you look at it now and how much food is right now, look, I'm putting y'all on real quick. So, the bad way. If you manipulate the system, you have some people that'll be like, okay, listen, this is the way that we can win. So we're like, let's say middle class. You're middle class, so it's like, okay, well, I'm not lower class and I'm not upper class, but I just need like a little edge up. How much for them food stamps? You see what I'm saying? Or you have that person who makes $10 over and can't get assistance with food stamps, but just need that little edge. Mm-hmm. Or medical, like Nathan of YouTube said. Or medical, it's like, oh, wait, so what do I do? How do I manipulate the system? Do I not work, be off work for a little bit to take this in because the government is all in your business just so that you can actually make a living and be comfortable? Or do you continue to struggle? So I kind of get that, and you don't want to be totally on it. I don't like people all up in my business. So you got that. It's like, okay, how much do you make? Blah, 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 blah. Some people split up, and air quotes, not be split up. Government, I know y'all not listening to Shop Talk with Mel. So just throw it out, okay? Throw it out your head. But you'll sit there and it'll be like, okay, how can we win? So some people are manipulating the system.
Okay, so
to their advantage nowadays.
We're starting to cover all kinds of topics.
Come on, what's it? This hot topic, shop topic?
Okay, because when you're talking about, to me, when I hear a man is trying to manipulate the system, at the end of the day, that's a man trying to live off another man. Like, you should be trying to get...
What are they meant to do, Amber D? What are they meant to do? We don't want them living off us, real talk. We don't.
They live off themselves. That's what they need to do.
But watch this. Yeah, they live off themselves. You have that. But did you notice this? And I'm about to flip it. I'm just come on down this rabbit hole with me, y'all. Come on. So, live off themselves. They're in a relationship. Every time a man leaves a relationship, he has to start over. Every time a woman leaves a relationship, well, I ain't gonna say every. Most times, she don't. So society is given to the female, giving, but not to the male. How many single men out there are raising their children and can't get assistance because they don't have the X chromosome? That's a whole nother topic. We're going to talk about that. How they trying to eliminate the Y. But how many men, think about it, how many men are raising their children out there, single fathers, and then watch this, can't get the same assistance as a female can get, but you'll have a dad saying what he's doing raising his child and blah, 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 blah. And you have females who's like, well, we do it all the time. But there's disadvantages with a penis and disadvantages with a black penis. Serious disadvantages with a black penis.
So it's something that is changing, just like you're seeing more and more men.
Oh, look, we speaking to somebody. Okay, YouTube. Me. Okay, me. Single dad, no assistance. Okay, we talking to you.
What's it called? They get public assistance. They are getting primary custody of their children, right? And historically, that's been unusual. And there's a couple states, I can't even remember which one, who they're about to make a state law that during custody hearings, the default will be 50-50. The state of Ohio is a mommy state. That means default will go to mother, but if the father petitions or actually just shows up to court, it will be granted 50-50. So at least in the state of Ohio, a lot of times mom is granted primary custody just because dad didn't show up to court. Like, period.
Or dad shows us like, okay, what you doing? Oh, I do construction. Oh, so you're not working right now. It's the winter.
So it's something that as America, we're progressing in. There are other nations that are more progressive than we are and truly have 50-50 parental rights. And that's something we need to grow in as a nation. But I feel like at this current moment, the disadvantages of having a penis when it comes to child rearing.
A black penis, let's be specific.
A black penis is still offset by the privilege they experience by having a penis in general in the overall society. We are still a capitalistic patriarchy. Men experience advantage. Black men, even though it's very tiny, and actually at this point, I do believe after the pandemic, it's considered statistically irrelevant, earn slightly more money than black women. Mm-hmm. So
slightly.
They're still out earning women.
I'm talking a dime in the fountain. The kind you just flip, make a wish. Okay, but go ahead.
Now, that's just in the black community. In every other racial group in America, the men substantially out-earn the women. So in other ethnic groups, there is a significant disadvantage to being a woman. So I feel like it all balances out, basically.
Okay. Now, you know what? I gotta read this. This one is good. Charles Lilly of Facebook. Parental rights should be up to the individual. So, yeah, go ahead, Amber D. Go do it. Go ahead. I'm listening attentively.
Exactly. That's thank you for listening. Thank you for participating in the show. That makes sense and that sounds right. But if people were able to make decisions on their own, they wouldn't have to get the government involved. They wouldn't have to go to court. So literally your situation getting to court level means you're not able to make a decision as an individual.
I disagree.
Okay.
And the reason I disagree on that, you may be able to make a decision, but maybe that mother just don't trust you enough that to say that you gonna hold up your end of the bargain. Baby. Listen, it starts off real good, but honey, you need that insurance. Insurance is important.
Absolutely. And
so let's do this just in case. So if you on the up and up, it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, and I think absolutely, as far as people who criticize.
Wait, let me say this real quick too.
Okay.
So if she or he has a problem with getting the government involved, that sounds a little shady. You don't want me to have insurance. Why is that?
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
Exactly.
Back to it, listening attentively.
It's an insurance. And he said it should be up to the individuals. And as Mel pointed out, you have to be in agreement. Like the two parties have to be in agreement. So so it's not just, well, I think this. It's like parents should be able to make decisions about custody as individuals. No, actually, you have to come to an agreement about custody as a team. And if you can't, then yeah, you need to bring in a third party, the law, the government.
The government. But you know what? Here's the thing. You got to know who you're with. And even though people change, they change.
Yes.
But you got to know, listen, am I dating, and I'm going to say dating because this is usually how the procreation starts. Am I dating a team player or not? That's what you have to decide off top.
What? Men don't care about that. Okay, they don't. They just be out here slanging, busting down walls. And then
And she be like, bust my walls. Go ahead.
Right. And then she get pregnant and I'm a victim and I didn't know. No, sir. You didn't vet her. You don't vet any woman you deal with. And now you got consequences. Go deal with your consequences. Bye-bye. Get out of my face.
I remember, and this was so strange because I'm an open book. If you ask me, I'll let you know. Real talk. I remember when we got our divorce. We got our divorce and our children were older, you know what I mean? And he paid child support. Now, when I got the check and they were with him, I sent it to him. So if they were with him like during the summer, the 2 months, there's the child support. Here you go, boom, I'm putting it right back in your account. There you go. You got them.
Yeah.
Where some people feel like, well, no, I'm not sending it with them. I got to do A, B, C, and D. I just think it's just so strange how I have my dudes that were like, oh, Mel, you a good one. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? So it's important.
Are you a team player?
You got it right. And what's the objective? Now you had a come up baby now. Real talk. Let's talk about like Larsa. What Pippen said she'd have a baby by Michael Jordan's son, Marcus Jordan. Bye. That's the come up baby. That's insurance. Okay. I'm not doing. Do you know how that stuff hurts? You having a whole child for what? Like that's a lot of work.
To some women, and according to men, it's a whole lot of women think it's worth it. But then, once again, the data doesn't support that. That's why the birth rate is dropping. That's why people aren't getting married. That's why, women actually know childbirth is not worth your little bit of money.
Exactly. Okay, let's see. Maurice Hines Jr. on Facebook said, that's a lie. Not all men be trying to jump in the cookie jar all the time because there's not a guarantee that we're going to be together. Listen, I agree with you, but you got to have that right person. You got to have that right person. So, and she's just we're speaking hypothetically anyway. So if a guy, let me see, in the cookie jar, he's pretty much saying, everybody don't want to be knocking down no walls, Amber D. That ain't the case. Because there's no guarantee that they're going to be together. But we know in relationships, you dating, as an adult, that might be a possibility that eventually y'all might link up. Now, y'all could be using protection. So Boom, there you go. Use protection. You ain't got to worry about that. If it don't work, don't work. If it don't fit, don't force it.
Right. Hypothetically speaking, that's before the babies. I'm talking after the baby's done showing. Okay, so if what is it? I think we're up to 82%. 82% of Black children are born out of wedlock. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot.
It is.
And so to address what's actually happening right now in the moment, we need to talk about procreating before marriage, procreating before you know the other person, because then now you're in child custody court and you're crying about having to pay child support and all this other stuff going on. It happens because you impregnated
somebody that you didn't know. You impregnated a stranger. Charles Lilly of Facebook, as a college educated man who has always worked, my children are my legacy. I'm proud to be a father. Look, we're just messy on here. Oh, messy boost mail. Listen here. Let's put the positive out there too. Okay. They be like, I Amber did them. They ain't messy. Here's the thing with the generation now. And I believe we did this, Amber D, sometime before with the stats of the younger generation. The women are like, let me see what you're working with.
Yeah.
So they're taking on the role of, I'm using air quotes, Maurice Hines, way saying all men. Chicks is out here like, let me see what you're working with. Are we compatible this way? Ain't no sense in learning all this and wasting time. So the young girls is coming at it, boom. And then you got guys balled up on the couch with a blanket. Talk about, oh, I thought we was together. Like what?
I mean, I support it. I support it. But that's because modern women have way more contraceptive options than women had even 30 years ago. And I feel like this kind of falls into that accountability. Ooh, especially with Black women and having all these out of wedlock babies. Having a baby with a man that don't want it. That's a good way to end up dead as a Black woman. The data supports that.
The data does support that.
The data supports that. If a man don't want a baby with you, honey, get rid of it. Go cry, get some therapy, and move on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, having a baby by a man that either don't want the baby outright, is telling you as much, or he's ambivalent. Okay, a man that's ambivalent about bringing another life into this world, ooh, that's a red flag. And it
is, because that tells you that I'm not going to be there. You can't make me do something. And they'll eventually, if it's, the data does support what you said, the worst of the worst case scenario. But if he doesn't want it, then he's going to resent you. Yes. So it's going to be a bad environment overall. Because it's like you're making me do something that I really did not want to do, even though he chose to lay down with you, and this could be the potential outcome. That's why it's very important, people. Listen, y'all be laying down with these people, and you listen. When you lay down, just know there is a possibility that I can get knocked up, especially if you're in child rearing ages. So if you don't want your baby to be ugly, yeah, shallow male at it again. At least let him look like something, honey. You laying down with this, like, come on now, Magilla Gorilla, and you like, come on. Like, y'all didn't really look at the situation. What's their upbringing? I wouldn't even date nobody, and I didn't even realize this, real talk. I did a self-evaluation. I was just having a conversation, and real quick self-evaluation. And I realized that the people that I dated, even when I was younger, they come from two-family households. Not that I intended to look out, or look for that. It just happened. It was that type of guy that I was actually attracted to. And then they just happened to have both parents still in the household. Did they have any problems? Probably. I don't know. I didn't see it. But from the outside, it looked mighty good to me once I met them. You know what I'm saying? But it's who you are attracted to and what's important, as you stated earlier in the show, Amber D, as far as like the subconscious mind is just attracted to whatever it's attracted to. And your upbringing and what you're used to and what you're accustomed to. Okay. Now, I'm good. You know what? Maurice from Facebook, we own it. Thank you, because I wanted to talk about this about 15 minutes ago and it slipped my mind. That's why I need to be jotting stuff down. Maurice Hines Jr. of Facebook said, do you both believe that 93% Black African American kids are in foster care? So, we were talking before, and I was sitting there thinking that when you were like, just go ahead and have an abortion, whatever, or the single mothers, the drop off, the blame. this here thing talking about single mothers are to blame for mass incarceration. If the mother would have left the child, then the child will be in foster care. Would that child be incarcerated?
Well, I think there's definitely a link. There's a relationship between kids who go through the foster care system and who end up getting incarcerated in adulthood. There is definitely a direct relationship between that, and that's outside of race. So typically, I mean, we do have success stories, of course, and we could get into there's a lack of Black foster parents. Okay, because Black people don't actually want to be foster parents.
Some or not approved. We got to jump through hoops.
Right, or not approved. So that's the whole foster thing that's a whole another conversation. That's another episode. But there's definitely a shift between foster care and incarceration in adulthood. But as far as just one last thing I want to say, as far as the last topic, we know that these women don't care about what the daddy wants because they want to keep the baby, even though he's ambivalent or doesn't want the baby. But what I will tell these young women that are impregnated in these situations, think about the child, okay? Think about the life you're going to give your child. Why would you intentionally give a child a father that doesn't want them? True. You are handicapping your child. You are putting all kinds of emotional and psychological trauma on that child because you want to be linked to that man.
Watch this. Watch this. Because she is lonely and looking for love. And that's why she keeps that child with hopes that she'll have someone who will love her unconditionally. And then when she's in the situation, it's like, wait, this is more than I bit off more than I can chew. And now you want to blame that father who did not want that child for wanting to be with the child or, or then say that they're not doing enough or not wanting to be with the child. Ladies, listen, I'm so tired of this. I'm on the soapbox today. I'm so tired of this. I am. Where you are quick, we as females are quick to call a man a deadbeat because he does not have the same beliefs as you. But what happened was you didn't know that he didn't have those beliefs because y'all jumped into bed so fast.
Right. Didn't bother to find out.
People,
he sweet talked you. Everything seemed great. You sitting here basing a entire relationship, and I feel like that's because we have so few intact long-term relationships in the Black community. You sitting here basing everything off the honeymoon stage. Boo boo. Everything's supposed to be good on the honeymoon stage.
It's supposed to be, and if it's not, leave there.
Right, but you gotta think. You gotta see. What does it say? You should be with a person through all their seasons. You should see a person through all their emotions, through multiple situations before you come to a judgment, a conclusion about who they are as a person, what their character is. You only see them when they up. You only see them when they're happy.
It's like buying a house. People.
Right.
Follow me. You sit there, you house shopping in the winter. Baby, go in the summer to see the real neighborhood, okay?
Right.
You got to see it all. So all seasons are very important. All seasons are very important.
But I mean, and then in relation to like the whole, like the daddy don't want the baby or the daddy is, ambivalent about the baby, the abortion rate, and the whole, because that's something you hear too is, oh, what is it? The most dangerous place for a Black male child is in the womb.
Girl, don't talk about that. No, we got other topics. Don't talk about that. That was crazy. I read that. Don't. Okay, don't.
A whole nother episode.
Yes. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. So Virginia's governor is changing the degree requirements. Like, Mel, what you talking about? Real quick. The Virginia's governor decided that you don't have to have certain degrees to get certain jobs. So my takeaway is like vocational school versus a 4-year college.
Okay.
Or an associate's degree versus your bachelor's and master's or doctorate.
Okay.
Now, here's what's interesting. Guess who jumped on board? He leading the way. Virginia's governor leading the way. Maryland.
Okay.
Utah. North Carolina, Jersey, and Colorado, the weed state. Like, so, we know We know it's cheaper to go to a vocational school.
Sure.
Versus a 4-year college. But I see, let me say this. The other people, which will be me, the other people on the other side of the degree, I got an issue with it. I feel like it sounds good, but I feel like it's loaded. I feel like, me personally, I just feel like the government trying to figure out how to pay back them PPP loans y'all done used up. And was like, we about to lower the rate. You know what I'm saying? We're going to lower the rate and start at a base. So somebody who has, and I'm not knocking the vocational because I went to cosmetology school through Schaffen Career Center. Shout out to you. Like, come on. I ain't mad. And it doesn't mean that you are less intelligent than the individual. But there was a time that it was like, okay, you get your degree, you get this rate. So it was promoting education, you know what I mean? Promoting school. And now it's like, oh, you don't have to have that to get this same, same occupation or the same profession or job. But I feel as though it is loaded because they're trying to lower the pay and then we all start on the same playing field. What's your thoughts? Where you go? Your phone hot? Her phone might be hot, y'all. Let me see. Charles Lilly of Facebook said, as a retired chemical dependency counselor, I found that young men are misinformed about how women see life. I agree with that too. Go ahead, Amber D. You back with me? What's your thoughts on that? You there?
Yeah, I'm back. So I feel like I'm still here. Jumping in and out. I think a storm was coming in. But I think that as an entire system, I'm sorry, but with Donald Trump's presidency,
Yep. I don't know. I lost you. Go out and come back. Wait, there you go. Hello?
Okay. Okay. Every measurable, like every field of study, America is falling behind. We did used to be number one. We used to be innovators, and leading things in medical, in science, in engineering. And that's not the case anymore because our kids are coming out stupid. They're not stupid, but they're not as intelligent as these other first world nations. We are losing our competitive edge. Education matters. Intelligence matters. We should be pushing our young people to strive to go as high as they can go so that we can be great again. But if I think we're like number 53 or something when it comes to math. Like,
way down.
Doing well in our society. And I feel like this is just another step towards that. Like, oh yeah, you think you're smart because you went to university.
And not college.
Right. And there's absolutely, and I think that many years ago, apprenticeship was normal. Like, okay, you couldn't go to a fancy college because that was for the super elite. Very wealthy people could go to an actual college. But most people went and did some sort of apprenticeship, some type of vocational training, so that you can be employable.
Right. Competitive in the workforce.
Right. So I absolutely think most people need some form of after high school education. If you're going to the vocational school, if you're going to the community college, whatever, you need to do that so that you can be employable. But as far as the big picture of our whole society, we should be encouraging education. We should be encouraging competition, and we should be encouraging our young people, the dynamic section of our population, to go as high as they can go. Okay,
now we about to jump on the next one. The affirmative action. Gone. So, now, wait. Now, for you guys who might have missed this, you see, we went from what happened in Virginia to change it, where it's like, oh, let's level the playing field. You don't need higher education. We're going to just do away with it. Those degree requirements, we don't need those. And now let's talk about the Supreme Justice said, boom, done with affirmative action. Let's go.
I mean, I think, gosh, I feel like, this is to me a reflection of the Black apathy when it comes to voting and the consequences of that when you don't vote, when you don't prioritize your own community and be very proactive in doing things that benefit your people. Like, this is the result. And then also, it almost boggles my mind, but then it doesn't, that Clarence Thomas is literally like Steve from Django.
Baby!
Not where he was because of affirmative action. And then if you look at his personal life and then his current legal troubles, it's like, oh my God, that was, okay, Django was not fiction, because there had to be a whole lot of Black people just like Steve. And Clarence Thomas is one of them. That's all I can say.
I'm trying to get, hold on. I was like, shots fired. We do have them. I'm not even gonna get that little young girl, her thing, that CO. I ain't even gonna say her name. I eat her vanilla wafer. Stacey Dash, I give her hers. Vanilla wafer. Like, come on. Yeah, if y'all ketchup, look, vanilla wafer, brown on the outside, white in the middle, whatever. And some people feel as though white privilege is real.
Yes.
And guess what? When it all come down to it, vanilla wafers, you're still Black. Okay, let's keep it right there. Quincy Delmar of YouTube said, Mel, that connects with those 15-minute cities, the ones that I named. Boom. I'm glad you caught it. We know. But we have to pay attention. We, as a unit, we need to pay attention. Now, somebody said something up here. I'm trying to get it. Hold on. Okay. They keep stripping kids of learning about history. I told you, Maurice Hines Jr. of Facebook. I told y'all some time ago how they were removing African-American studies off the state curriculum, putting in Asian American. See the connection? We following. Now, we saw some people that's like, okay, how are they treating us all types of crazy? You know what I mean? Why are we going and why are we supporting? I'm not saying don't support your Asian people. I'm not. What I am saying is pay attention. Pay attention who is rising and getting the respect in America that just got up over in this month. They just decided to slide through. Let's talk about the people who get those loans for the new business loans, or not even loans, grants, because they don't have to pay them back to start a business. But who has, we get loans, they get grants.
Right.
Y'all got to look at this. I ain't here for no class, but please pay attention to what's happening, because I'm going to share this. This was some time ago, and there's a status. Y'all know the status was, this is just me. Oh, check it out. Research it for yourself. I'm just talking. As far as like superior, not my views, society's views. White. Remember that? Then, and I'm only using 4. White, Black, then Hispanic. Now Asians are coming. Now it is white, Asian, Latino, and Black. So and we hear, just as me and Amber were talking, you know, it's like, oh, the Black man is suppressed. And we keep talking about how we are suppressed, but we don't have a plan to do anything. Remember, I was saying, yeah, we talk about the problem. And it's like, we need to do this. We need to change. We need this. We need equal rights. How do you suggest we do that? Where is the plan? Other people have a plan, and not even just on race. In anything that you do, you have a plan. This is my plan. This is the playlist. We gonna execute it. Problem is, there's no, I'm talking about the playlist, you know, radio. These are my plays. You know what I'm saying? And we have to execute. You got to have a plan. It's like, 1, what's the objective? To win the game. I do a starting lineup. Win the game. Okay, you write out your plays. This is what we're going to do to see if it's going to work or not. Bam. Now let's implement it. Let's execute. Did it work? If it did not work, then we start all over. Problem is, I noticed with us, it's like, here's the issue. I want to win the game. These are the issues. I don't have the plays written because I don't know how to go about it. I'm just going to assume that that's it. Okay. And it's never executed. Or if you do have the plays, it's not executed. It's like, come on.
So I want to point out that if you look up the current data on income, Asian men actually out-earn white men in America.
Yes.
They are the highest earning racial group. So when they are receiving this privilege for grants and stuff, and it's not because oh, it's because they're Asian. No, it's because they're educated. Like their stereotype is that they are smart people.
Yes.
Right.
And they're known for it. They're known for it. When you see an Asian person,
Yeah.
we're programmed. Oh, they're smart. Math. They know. Boom. Precisions.
Right.
Like,
exactly. And then not only that, but they have more intact family units. Like their kids are coming from stable households.
Baby, it's about 30 of them next door in the same place. So they ain't got those stresses. Like, everybody pay $10 a month, we good. And we love our family, and this is what we gonna do.
Right. And
Mr. Miyagi in the back room.
And I feel like as far as the Black community, to me, it's this pervasive. And I think initially it started out as quite intentional because back in I'm going to say in the 50s, but Black people were as a community, were very industrious. But it's been programmed and it's been accepted of this victim mentality. Like, oh, white man, and oh, I'm so down and out, and no one will give me a chance. If you say that to yourself, and that's the music that you listen to, and that's what you believe, you're not going to accomplish very much. It ought to be shameful that we have immigrants and foreigners, not just Asians. Okay, we got Hispanics, we got Haitians, we got Africans coming into this nation and just sweeping African Americans, like, without shame. So is that the whole world is against African Americans, or is there an issue with African Americans, our mentality, how we view education, okay, how we view the family unit, that is hindering us from being able to compete? And really, we should be able to outperform all these different ethnic groups in this country that we've been in for 400 years, over 400 years. Like, at some point, the call is coming from inside the house. The issue is within the Black community. It's not Asians, it's not Hispanics, it's not systemic racism. It's Black people and our attitudes.
School's in! You want to read the comment?
So, Hattie Wilkins of Facebook said, make a plan and follow it. Okay.
That's it. Make a plan. Execute it. Do it.
A plan.
Well, you got to have one. If it doesn't work, go back. Boom. Okay. Well, that one didn't go. But we have to come together as a unit. Let's talk about, since we're on this right now, let's go ahead with Darlene McCoy. Darlene McCoy, Christian radio personality.
Okay.
She experienced some racism in Buckhead, Atlanta.
Okay.
This is what she experienced. She said that, they asked her name, and this was a cheesesteak place. So I don't want you guys to get misconstrued. Like, who asked for the name? Which place is this? It's a cheesesteak place. I think it was like Woodruff's or something like that. Don't quote me on it. Anyway, they asked her name, and she said, Darlene. Sure.
Okay, cheesesteak place. So are we talking like economy eating, or was this like a fine dining restaurant?
No, I don't know because I'm not familiar with it. But they asked her name, but let me tell you. So I'm thinking some fast food. I don't know. I ain't getting that deep, Amber D. We're just gonna talk about the issue. She said Darlene, and they wrote Darky. And she asked, "Why did you put Darky?" And they said, alleged. Don't worry about that. We know your name is Darlene. So, my point in bringing this up is people getting bold, honey. The people are getting bold. So, social media, society is like, you know what? We getting ready to write reviews on Yelp. So, they go, but Yelp allegedly shut it down where you couldn't leave a review for that particular place.
They did that. I think they did it on a case-by-case basis in the past, but I know that and this is the way it's reported, it could not be accurate. And it might not be Yelp, but it might be a different platform. But I think it might be IMDb Movies. They did the same thing due to The Little Mermaid getting, I forgot what it's called, but I think it's called review bombing. They review bombed the film, and they were like, these are false. These people didn't even watch the film, but they're leaving negative reviews.
Okay.
Mermaid was black. So basically it was the same thing. And then this is nothing new. This has been done.
Well, watch this. Times. I just want to let the people know you can do, if you get shut down over there, you can always do the Google review.
Right.
So there's options out there just to educate the people. All right, go ahead.
And I think that at the very least, her sharing her experience, but absolutely, it's when it comes to businesses, review bombing is very effective. technique. And so I understand why these search engines, said, okay, it's not fair. We're going to stop doing that or whatever. But as Mel said, there's other platforms you can go and leave a negative review. And what else can you do? Don't eat there.
Yeah, but the way that other people, how it's one person, I guess it's like a quote unquote boycott. And
to boycott the restaurant?
Yeah, well, when you leave those reviews, that's just the modern day boycott.
Yeah.
So it is effective. I thought that was foul, but I'm glad that she asked you such, just listening to her, I listened to her on Sunday mornings here. Just listening to her, she's so kind. And I thought, and she asked the question, why did you put that? Why did you put Darky? They said, don't worry about it. We know your name is Darlene. Don't worry about it.
That's so disrespectful. And I feel like that's because in American society, it's so normalized to disrespect Black people, especially Black women. And there are people who have the nerve and the audacity. But that goes for any group of people. And it's like, what can you really do besides boycott, besides remove your dollar, which in a capitalistic society, that's like the most powerful thing you have. Like, don't support that business and then try to get other people not to support that business. Because unfortunately, a lot of people like that, they only learn when you hit their pocketbooks. And even then, they still are going to believe that. Like,
well, we know that's the answer. We know that that's the answer.
How they view about you. But what you can teach them is that when we're in public, you better respect me.
There you go. All right, let's do this real quick. Let's talk about. We did a poll. Okay. The blacklist poll. Things Black people take serious. And I want you guys to join in. 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. And I got this question on here that's about to. I got you. Okay? Yes or no? Spades.
Yes.
Or check?
Yes.
Knowing who all over there?
Yes.
Not eating everybody's cooking?
Yes.
When people take off running in public? Listen, baby, I'm running. I'm like, where we running from?
Don't matter. I'm running with the crowd.
Okay. Who did the body?
Who did the body?
Yeah, when somebody died, we'd be like, now who did the body? Who prepared the body?
Yes.
Okay. Listen, that matters to me. There's some people out here in the street with that Mortician 101 lipstick on. I'll be like,
ooh, yeah.
Let me get the open casket 95.
But
Everybody can't do makeup. Go ahead.
I literally just started following a mortician on YouTube, and it's called Ask a Mortician, and it's fascinating.
Oh, well, let me keep going. Go ahead, Amber. I ain't doing that. But that's ask them who did. Look, don't sell your makeup to these chicks out here talking about some damn makeup artist. Bye. All right, look, what else we got? Sitting facing the door, the exits. Like if you go into a restaurant.
No.
See, I do. That is so important to me.
Well, but I want to say, because you said Black people as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, we can. Yeah, it's cool. I get it. But if it's a guy there, I'll be like, I tell him you got a big responsibility because I'm depending on you to tell me what's nutty coming through the door. Okay.
Right.
Clocking out on time.
No. Yes.
I'm like, what?
No, I thought you meant clocking in on time.
Now clocking in, I'll be like, yeah, clocking in is different, but clocking out, I need to get out when it's time to go. It's time to go. Tupac versus Biggie.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I feel like that has
generational.
That's a generational thing.
All right, and here's the last one. Running a buggy on the back of our heels. A shopping cart.
Yes. Yeah.
The consensus has said that right there is a problem. We take that serious.
Yeah, that's like, do we have a problem in this aisle? It's about to go down.
Listen, I think everybody, some little child sitting there talking about something. Can I push the buggy? Your child. And then, listen, you run into the back of my heels, it's going to be a problem.
Right, yeah.
All right, shout out to Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes finally got his Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I'm happy about it. Now he made a speech. And speaking as far as like when you were talking about the rappers beefing and they're actually killing each other. I remember back in the day, I want to say it was LL and Kool Moe Dee. You didn't see they ain't kill each other. Like, come on. And I really feel like it's really not them. It's their camps. You know? I feel like it's their camps that's all involved. And that's how people are, getting took out. So shout out to you, Busta Rhymes. I'm so happy about it. Now back to the affirmative action.
Okay.
That ruling, we already know, it splits the experts and the students. I had a conversation with my non-melanated people. And one young man told me, he said, Mel, here's the problem. Like if I apply for a school, somebody black applies for the school, and then they get in just for the color of their skin, I'm like, well, I want to be black to get in.
They've been doing that. Was it Rachel Dolezal and Pocahontas? What's her name? She's a Democrat. They did that. They've been doing that too.
They be coming in, throw some braids in and talking about something, throw some locks in, talk about some, yep, I'm black. Infiltrating the NAACP, Rachel.
She claimed she was Native American. That's why Trump called her Pocahontas.
He a mess. He quite entertaining though. I ain't gonna lie. He is quite entertaining. Well, listen, here's the thing. This is what I think that affirmative action will prevent. This is just me. Diversity. I think it's going to prevent diversity on colleges or university campuses. So, and even though it's like, I forgot who it was. I think Rugal was on there. We were talking about somebody, Cory Booker, I think. Whoever it was. They were like, do away with the whole affirmative action. I'm like, no, keep it there, because if there's an opportunity, at least you get to get in. I'm not trying to be funny, but let's just be real. Affirmative action had to come into place. Why? For this very reason. Now they're saying that
we were talking about affirmative action. He's saying, "Oh, well, they didn't accept me, but they accepted someone else just because they were black." Understand that prior to affirmative action, they got rejected just because they were black.
My point exactly. My point.
Brought in affirmative action.
Now. Okay, so we got one that says, "Be your own affirmative action."
So support black colleges and universities and black.
Yep. Go to your HBCUs. But let me say this. I got to be fair. You know that. So Chief Justice John Roberts, the reason that they did away with it, he said that it violates the equal protection clause of the Constitution. However, we know that affirmative action came into place because it violated the equal protection clause of the Constitution. So it's like, give me a break. I thought that it was like, okay, well, at least one, this is me. At least one of us got in. Okay, because of your color. Thanks. You can have the same credentials. And it's like, oh, if I have the opportunity to choose, okay, I'm not going to choose this person, but because they're black. But let's be real. Let's take it even further. You can look at certain schools. You'd be like, what school did they graduate from? What's their name? Yeah. I hate to say it, even though hers was appointed. Or the other judge that just got in, I can't pronounce her name right. What's her name? Jackson.
Johnny.
Yeah. What girl? Bow Wow was about to say Khadijah Jackson, but you know what? I can't. But I mean, you know what I'm saying. So you can kind of tell if they're black or white or Asian or whatever just by their names.
But then you have people, especially immigrants, who will give themselves Anglo-Saxon names to sidestep that. And I think that the issue is that why, as minorities and as Black people, do we have to sit here and hide our heritage in order to be able to receive the opportunities that white people receive in this nation? That is literally what affirmative action was trying to address. So instead of addressing that, the core issue, they're going to be like, oh, well, now I'm being disadvantaged.
Let me put this out here. The two things, because I did say two things that I think that this will prevent. Like I said, it's going to prevent diversity on the colleges and university campuses. And it's also going to prevent African Americans and Latino students from attending colleges. Real talk. It's like, if I don't want them there, I don't want them there. So with what Charles Lilly said, be your own affirmative action, we just got to go into the HBCUs. Now, here's the thing. We have to fight for our HBCUs. We need to donate. It's important to donate to these colleges because most of these colleges function off of donations. Real talk. We seen what happened before when they was trying to get rid of the HBCUs. Listen, man, come on, people. Come on, people. Let's focus and let's do what we need to do.
Just like on our other topic, it's not, because I don't think college is for everyone, but we should have more Black-owned vocational schools.
Yeah.
Not just colleges and universities, but vocation. I think, that's definitely a path many Black people can take. But how many Black-owned vocational schools are there?
There is it. I'm gonna have to check into that. Look, I'm like, what are they? I'm gonna check into that.
Exactly.
And the reason that I know that most people go to vocational schools is because it's affordable. So it's like, okay, I can pay $3,000 or $5,000. I'm going on the lower end because I think cosmetology back then was like $3,500 versus $30,500. You know what I mean? So I get it. And in the state of Virginia, you could go and be like, hey, I could spend $3,500 and I can do A, B, C, and D. Go ahead. What you got?
And it's not just Black people investing in our colleges and universities or even starting vocational schools, but it goes back to education. Black people being involved in education. You need to have an education background to start a vocational school or a college or a university. You need to be pushing your children to value education and pursue some form of higher education as a parent. I really think a lot of it just comes down to education. Honestly.
It definitely does. And did you know that teaching is the longest occupation ever?
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It definitly does.
We're so old.
Girl, baby Miss Everhart. Oh, man, she was old as dirt. I was like, you still alive? like that was the meanest substitute teacher ever. But hey, listen, that's it. That's the one. Real quick, Jussie Smollett. One of our co-hosts used to call him Juicy Smollett. Listen, Jussie Smollett is back to work. So I'm happy for him.
What? Okay.
That's the one. Jussie Smollett is the one who allegedly faked his
faked the race crime.
The race crime and the violence with the two brothers. Now here's my thing. He said he didn't do it. He said he didn't fake it. But this is what he has going on. So what he's doing is he's working on his directorial skills. He made his directorial debut on BET in B-Boy Blues. So just check that out. Now here's where my problem is at. Look how Amber D, listen, audience. If you see Amber D's face, you can be like, yeah, okay, I'm not doing it. But watch this. I'm reading comments at the same time. Let me focus over here. He's still trying to sue Chicago. Sir, Jussie Smollett's people out there. Tell him to just take the L. Don't worry about his innocence. And just keep working. Because we're trying to work for you. Black people are a forgiving people. But you need to stop. And just go ahead and just do what you're going to do. So you could get in front of the scene. Now, you know what? Him with Empire. Remember he was on Empire? Yeah. So you got the staff on Empire that was doing their thing. But listen, what I read up on Nate W. I know you love Nia Long, but let me talk about Nia Long. There was a lot of people that said that she is just too much, such a diva. They don't like to work with her. And remember, she played the opposite of Taraji P. Henson on Empire. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, Taye Diggs don't want to work with her because he said she slapped him, and that wasn't part of the role, but it did make it look better. Real talk. In I think it was Best Man or something like that. It was in something. Then they said she wanted things to be just so on the set of Empire. She was hard to work with. Her makeup people even filed a complaint. Okay. Then it was her and Taraji P had an issue. And I think it was mainly because of the people on Empire, because Taraji go hard for hers. So I just had to put that out there since we was talking about Jussie Smollett and his stuff. Nate W. of YouTube said prostitution is the oldest occupation. I'm just saying. I didn't say oldest. I said teaching is the longest.
Long. Get your mind out the gutter.
Okay. Okay.
No, I just want to say, yeah, as I won't be supporting him. I have an issue with the whole thing. I think that he set black people back by sitting here, pretending to, that's very serious. And then now you got people not wanting to believe black people when we do say there was a racially based incident transpired.
Right.
Foolishness. So no, I won't support him. And then they were Africans, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So they're not even African Americans, but you can sit here and play with our history.
Right.
And play with us being taken seriously when we are actually victimized in this nation. Bye. Get out of here. He's still canceled. I'm done with him. Anyways.
Amber's done. Let me hurry up, Amber.
And I hope that, and then also the woman that shot, she went viral.
Go ahead. Go, hurry up.
Viral for shooting the man in the restaurant. And turns out, shame on media for completely misconstruing the entire situation. The truth, thankfully, came out. He deserved to die, basically, in a nutshell.
The one that punched her in the face?
Huh?
You talking about the one that punched that lady in the face and her son came in and shot him?
Multiple times. Punched her multiple times in the
Woo.
face. So she's still trying to sue the city. And so what people are saying is, she needs to fall back. Her lawyer seems to look very young and inexperienced. It's like she's lucky that
she didn't get charged.
Because she didn't get charged, and then she's lucky that there was cameras, and not only that, they did have grounds to arrest her because they fled the scene.
Right. Okay.
So it's just like, okay, go ahead.
Okay. I got to get to this comment. I know the alarm going off, but thank God I got my own stuff. Look, because we running over. Woo! Mel, I watched the show previously. And my question is, as a Caucasian male, is the problem with me dating black elite women because, wait, I'm trying to understand this. Anyway, what he's saying is, this is a white male. He dates elite black women, and black men tend to have a problem with him because he's dating their women. And his ancestors used to rape the black women. Is that the problem? He's trying to understand what the problem is.
I think it's just jealousy. I feel like most issues always come down to core human nature, like just basic emotions. I think it's literally just jealousy, because the same can be said for black men that date white women. Man, the same argument is used. That was in the past. That was my ancestors, where you were the black person in the past or you were the white person in the past. That's not you as an individual. That's 7 generations ago.
Right. And it's not that person. But sometimes, it's grammed in our minds where it's like, oh, okay, boom. This is what I see, and I don't have a problem with it, do you? Because if I'm gonna date a white man, he's gonna be the elitist as well.
Hello?
Okay, so I'm not dating no gutter nut, and I don't care what color.
Other people will have different opinions now. Let's keep it 100.
They definitely would. Why you gonna?
Hell, it works.
Listen, I'm trying to move up, not over. Real talk. Like if people want you to move down because they don't want to do the work to get you. And that's when people say that, when you have men, ladies out there, just take note. When you have men to say you high sedity, you too high class, you bougie, you this, you that, be like, no, you're just not in my league. The end. It's done. Don't even sit there and allow them to play on your psyche, because they are saying, hey, I am not going to meet your expectations, but give me a chance anyway. Boom.
And I think even going back and forth with them, you're validating that you're on the same level, kind of.
Yeah, I ain't doing it.
Because you shouldn't even go back and forth. You're like, okay, well, that's cool. You know.
Okay, let's see. Nicole Keller Grace. Hey, Nick. Facebook said our men date white women. So what's the problem? Yes.
Exactly. There is no problem.
It's not. But why ours got to be having the trailer park? The ones I see, I be sitting there looking like, and you know what? And my white homies be like, we don't want her anyway.
So they're throwbacks.
Yeah.
And it's not just white community. I see it Hispanic and Asian.
I mean, it's there, but we don't talk. We're going to address this comment right here that came across.
Okay.
And that was his. And he didn't understand why it's not received. So he's cool with black people. But when he dates a black woman, he see that he kind of gets some backlash and some type, standoffish, from his friends. I mean, that's standoffish behaviors.
For interracial relationships.
Or rejection. No. Yeah, and it's still going on. It's
still going on. It's still alive and well. And if that's something that bothers you, you shouldn't date interracially. Because it doesn't matter what your racial combo is. But you're going to experience something. But
in his defense, we cool. And now I'm dating yours. Like, we real tight. I'm thinking, boom, I'm the homie. What's up? And then I date yours. And then now there's some pushback or rejection.
Yeah,
is that the reason?
That
so
person is insecure. And, like, the reality is...
See, I don't think that's insecurity.
Acceptable for me, but not for thee mentality. I can do it. But I can go date your white woman. And we're cool. But then when you come and date my black woman, I got a problem.
Yeah. And that's what he wanted to know the answer with.
That's all it is.
That's unfair. Yeah, that's unfair. I think that's kind of shady and unfair. 10 disappearing jobs that won't exist in 10 years. The retail cashier, we already know. That's why I won't be checking out. Telemarketers, freight stock, taxi dispatcher. Remember the person you called and want one? You can do your own now. The librarian. Please, people, read books. Keep the library open.
That's dangerous.
Yes, because you got to Google that. I could put information up. You could put information up. And it's like you got to figure out which one is true and which one isn't.
Right.
Which one are we working with? Even though we know books are written from everyone. But come on, they publish. Let's see what we got. Please keep the libraries open. Let's see. The paper boy or the paper girl. Travel agents. They probably going off because they be booking some crazy. It ain't the same. Postal workers. Because everybody paying online. Who want to pay for a stamp now? Typists and word processors.
What?
Typists and word processors. Remember you used to have to take time. Well, you probably didn't.
Exactly.
Never mind. Don't worry about it. Look, never mind. Remember you had to. Don't worry about it.
It's already gone.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. Yeah. Word processors, social media managers. I can see them going off because y'all making me do it myself after COVID and trying to work this. But the engineer, I need my engineers here. Because y'all can tell when I don't have them because it be all crazy like me doing my sound effects. You be like, Mel, for real? They be like, they off for the holiday. I'm going to get you back on. Let's see. Nicole Keller Grace, tell him how others feel isn't his business or his problem. Keep doing him. That's great advice. Yep, there you go. Keep, Cherie Childcare of YouTube said reading is fundamental over the summer and every day. Make sure my babies are reading. It's really important. It's really important. And thank you for that. Let me go ahead. Let me do what I do here with the, there we go. Let me get your sound effects. See, no engineer in the building. They on holiday. I need somebody that's going to work. Don't take no holidays off. Anyway, the gainfully employed for 10 years. Let me finish that. Finance, law, sales, and social work. We do need people to talk to us. We do need our social workers to let us know what counseling we need to go to, be the liaison for the parent-child, especially in school. Please, people, I want you guys to be great. I want everyone to be winners. I cheer you on, especially if you are doing good. I don't want you harming other people. I got to give you today's footnote. I had a good time with y'all, and I got some other stuff. Okay, real quick. I'm so sorry. I got to tell you the new trend. Okay. The new trend is quitting loudly.
Ooh.
People said, listen, maybe they said they are not quitting quietly anymore. I said, well, What do you mean? You can't get no quieter than not showing up. It's over. But now they are quitting loudly, so people are making the TikTok videos. So if you got the TikTok, go on TikTok, and they got videos out there where they are quitting their job on TikTok. Now, I don't know how they're giving this information, if they like DMing them, emailing the bosses, or what. People are creative. So they got took all that energy and time, a whole song and dance to quit, to say it loudly of how they really felt, instead of be like, you won't see me tomorrow.
Right. Well,
let me clock out late several more times. I'll be like, I'm done. Even though it's not the place. Go ahead.
I feel like if you ever have to go to HR to make a complaint and you have to like write down all the incidents, it's like, just put that letter to a song. Put it to a beat.
Well, that's y'all generation. That's what they doing. They got a whole dance like.
Right.
So I guess I'm thinking it's probably a whole list. So y'all know I'm about to go back on there and finish watching them.
Right. It's probably a list.
A whole list of different people and what bothered them at that job. And you get to listen. Now, my thing is, how do they listen? Like I said, you're going to DM them, email them, what?
Right.
Listen.
Drop a link.
So, right. So, look, post it to their website.
Right.
Somebody's going to see this. So, these young people are not playing. They like, listen, I got time. Clearly.
Right. It's that, okay, oh man, it's that I got time energy. And
yes.
Like, when you're ready to quit a job, you're there.
And there's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
Nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
Well, when they fed up, ain't nothing you could do about it.
Right, okay.
Don't cancel me. Look, don't mute me like R. Kelly. I'm sorry. Listen, the people doing it. So that's the new trend. I got to keep my people informed and let y'all know what's going on. So if y'all have TikTok and you ain't got nothing else to do, just go in there and look at those creative videos, because I'm telling you, they are bringing it. Real talk. I was like, oh, there we go. Okay. Today's footnote. If it don't fit, don't force it. Thank you, lovely people. I enjoy my time as I do each and every single Saturday. I understand that time is something that you cannot get back. If you would like to donate to this channel, you know what? Thank you guys for who have donated and who plan on donating at Shop Talk with Mel and Cash App. I truly appreciate you guys. I truly, truly do. That's why we're able to bring you great content and a lot of fun on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Remember, this is the show where it's okay to be you. The no judgment zone. Let's kick it, have fun, and share our thoughts. All right? All right. And if you want to check me out right now, as y'all know, I do things simultaneously. If you're not in the area, Star 94.7 if you are in the area. Your girl kicking it till 3 o'clock. And if you are not, you can go to 947-star.com and rock out with your girl. And we'll be covering some of the same topics while we jam, okay? All right, find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always love you. Until next week, people, you know what it is. 1, 2, 3. Shop Talk